Hello, friends! Today I am here to narrate a witty and humorous story about the jester of Vijayanagar. Didn't guess the name yet? Here, let me give you another clue. He is also known as the Birbal of South. Yes, it is Tenali Raman. Let us see how he applies his wits to a problem that arises in the kingdom of Vijayanagar. So here we go. Once there lived a king named Krishnadevaraya who ruled the kingdom of Vijayanagar. He was a great patron of the arts. Among his favorites was Rajvarma, a truly exceptional artist. He was provided with every luxury while making the king's portrait. And when I say the word luxury, I mean every single thing you can imagine. Rajvarma was a humble and hard-working person. He always completed his task with dedication. When the portrait was finally ready, the king was thrilled by the lifelike quality, and he said, "Brilliant! A painting which looks exactly like me. Not a single difference. This is the best portrait I have ever seen. What else can you draw?" Rajvarma displayed his collection of paintings to the king. After seeing these paintings, the king said, "You, Rajvarma, are an absolute genius. Ask for anything and you shall get it." The artist was modest. He really didn't know what he could ask for. There was nothing in the world that he craved. All he wanted was to be left alone with his paintings. So he racked his brains for an appropriate reply. But before he could utter a single word, the king snapped his fingers and said, "I know what to give you. You will be my chief minister from now on." Rajvarma was shocked. Even thinking about being the chief minister scared him out of his wits. He wanted to refuse the proposal, but he couldn't do so. And so, there stood Rajvarma as the newly appointed chief minister of the city. Rajvarma's genius was only limited to the arts, and he definitely did not have the skills to become a minister. It goes without saying that in no time the city was in complete chaos, thanks to his illogical and hasty decisions. Discontent grew among the masses, but none of the people spoke up because they had the fear of offending the king. The king's liking for the artist, however, remained the same. When everyone in the town failed, the people decided to pin their hopes on Raman. The jester heard them out and said, "Don't worry, things are in my hands now, and I will definitely find a way out of this problem." After a few days, Raman invited the king and some important ministers of the court to his house. When they readily accepted the invitation, he tracked down the best carpenter in the city and gave him the job of preparing the feast. On the appointed day, all the guests arrived, along with the king. They were already smacking their lips, thinking about the delicious food they were about to be served. Oh, now I feel hungry too. The food was finally ready, and it was served on beautiful platters before the guests. All of them reached for their mouthfuls. The king took a huge bite. And guess what? He suddenly choked on the food. He started screaming, "Water! Water! Give me some water, quickly!" The king was furious. He said, "Raman, this food is horrible. It's too hot, too salty, and grossly undercooked. Look at these potatoes. They are so hard that you have to crack them open like nuts. Who cooked this food? Is this your idea of a grand feast? Do you want us to die or something?" Raman waited for the uproar to subside, and then he said, "Forgive me, O king. Let me introduce you to the cook. This is the best carpenter in the city, and I gave him the job of preparing the feast for us." The king said, "Raman, are you crazy? He might be a brilliant worker on wood, but this does not mean that he is a good cook as well." To this, Raman retaliated. "If an artist can be the chief minister, then why can't a carpenter be a cook?" The king understood Raman's point. He decided to free Rajvarma from his post as soon as possible. Surprisingly, Rajvarma presented himself before the king the very next day and begged him to relieve him from the post. The king was befuddled. Anyhow, he freed Rajvarma from the post of the chief minister and asked him to leave the royal palace. When the day of the departure arrived, Rajvarma threw a smile of gratitude in Raman's direction for making his work so much easier. The king and the people of Vijayanagar lived happily ever after. Did you just see that? Tenali Raman proved himself to be the witty jester of Vijayanagar just once again. I hope you enjoyed our journey through the story of Tenali Raman today. Thank you.